Something every crypto investor thinks during their lifespan investing in digital assets and cryptocurrency is I am too late to this token. It is too popular. The market cap is too big. Everyone seems to be in on this token. And I'm going to go over the actual data as to why actually some of the best tokens for the upcoming cycle, you are nowhere near too late. In fact, you are still extremely early based on some of these on-chain metrics that show most people are under allocated to the top assets. So in this video, I'm going to go over exactly why I still believe you are early to some of the biggest runners of the upcoming bull cycle. And on top of that, I have a prediction on a token that I think will pump throughout the month of April. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, guys, be sure to drop down below, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel for more every single week here on In the Game. We have you covered Monday through Friday, everything you need to win in crypto as well. A big shout out to our sponsors down below in the description, mainly Blowfin. Right now, we're holding a $120,000 Blowfin trading competition. You can earn individual and team rewards by joining Team Hustle down below in the description. I will be competing for my share of $120,000, and I hope you will join me. No KYC, no restrictions on wherever you are. You can use Blowfin. So let's go ahead and dive right into the markets as we do see an uneasy market. Obviously, as of recording this video, we are on the deadline, 8 p.m. tonight, that Trump set for Iran. So we're going to see what happens there. And that's definitely going to set the tone for the upcoming direction of the market. But this is more so just heading into the back half of this year. I really do believe that we're going to see something similar play out to previous cycles. Usually the bottom of the bear market, quote unquote, well, really quite literally, the price bottom of the bear market is about 10 to 12 months after the top of the bull cycle the previous year, which puts us at August of 2025. We hit $126,000. I remember exactly where I was when we hit $126,000, right? So about 10 to 12 months after that puts us somewhere between a crypto summer. Maybe we do see a pump over the summer, which we rarely do. We saw it last year. Maybe the timeline has changed a little bit, but I think safe to say somewhere between June and October should mark the time period where risk on assets like cryptocurrency are going to start doing very well. And you're going to want to make sure that you're allocated into the top assets. But the one thing I always hear, and like I said, every crypto holder goes through this lifespan. You see all of these tokens, you see some of these things, let's just say like Ethereum. Are you too late to Ethereum? I wouldn't say you're too late, but like at a $250 billion market cap, that one does feel a little bit capped, right? As far as upside potential. But I see it all the time. People saying, I can't buy Hyperliquid. I'm too late. I can't buy all these tokens. Like so many people have already been allocated and it's already a mainstream trade. So I've already lost out on that. Well, the data says otherwise. We can see here, top 10 projects by token holders. Now, this chart just blows me away. And this should just show you as a crypto investor, most people are living in a different dimension, okay? The top 10 projects by token holders are BNB, Ethereum, Tron, Solana. Okay, those four make sense. I talked about Tron recently in a video as one of those tokens I think is here to stay. It's not something I'd be buying, but it is randomly a very good token and it has so much activity, whether it's wash trading or just previous cycle holders. It's here to stay. So I think those four do make sense. BNB as opposed to in accordance to what's going on Binance. I think that BNB makes sense, and Binance Smart Chain at one point was basically what Solana is now. We see Ethereum, Tron, and Solana. From there, we have TON. I understand that too, the TON wallet and all that stuff. A lot of people have exposure to it. And then it gets funny, you know, Polygon, Aptos, Say Network. I think Near Protocol makes sense. I do think Near is a great AI allocated token. And then we have Bitcoin. So there's a few key players missing here. And a few of those that I always see people saying, I'm way too late, on this token. Number one, looking at Routify's, first of all, list here. And I think this hits a lot of the key points. You see Hype, TAO, Near, Lit, Pump, Zcash, Monad, and Mega. I definitely disagree with most of these, to be completely fair. These are his top tokens, but the consensus top 2 tokens in most people's lists right now are going to be Hyperliquid and TAO, and they're nowhere to be found on this top 10 list. And in fact, if we look at the metrics, people talk about Hyperliquid all the time like everyone owns it. You're going to say, I can't get in Hype. Everyone already, that trade's played out. Well, first of all, it's almost 40 to 50% below all-time highs. And second of all, over 180 million people hold Ethereum. About 9 million wallets hold Solana. Only 230,000 wallets hold Hyperliquid. And actually, the statistics show that less than 10% of wallets hold more than 10 Hype. Okay. That is ridiculous. There less than 10% of the, or more than 10% of wallets on Hyperliquid only hold less than 10 Hype. So you could see, to be completely honest with you, this trade has so much more upside. The metrics are only up and to the right. The buybacks every single day. Yesterday, they did 1.4 million in revenue, which just bought back 37,000 Hype. If you do the math on that, they're going to end up doing another 200 million to potentially 800 million if we go into some sort of a bull run, buying back the same token every single day for the rest of the year. So you can see the buy pressure on this. And already with what, Ryan D Crypto points out here, there's only 230,000 current holders. And if this token continues to go to the upside, all the while we see Hyperliquid taking supply off the market. So there's a scarcity effect and there's too many people that don't have Hyperliquid. I think this trade can have a clear path to $75 to $100 by the end of 2026. And I don't even think that that's a bull, like a moon boy prediction. I think that that's pretty sounded logic. People hate when they're under allocated to an asset, and clearly crypto is, even though everyone talks about Hyperliquid, most people are talking with just their brain. They're not talking with their wallets. And on this channel, we are definitely well allocated to Hyperliquid. Another one missing from this list that had a recent run that we have been talking about for a couple of years now is Bittensor TAO. Bittensor TAO, the top AI coin. If you don't see why you should have an AI token, the level of TAO, in your portfolio during the biggest AI renaissance you're probably ever going to see. This is the turning point, right? We're seeing Gemini, Claude, OpenAI, all these different mechanisms just having basically their own AI bull run. Like I said, an AI renaissance. And you're going to try to sit here and not have allocation into something as high level as TAO. The one on this list that makes sense to me is Near Protocol. On the top 10 holder list, like I do think Near Protocol definitely still has a future, has a good baseline, but just the way that TAO's built out, it's kind of like the Y Combinator of AI. And I actually pointed this out in a tweet myself, and this diagram here goes over it very well from Cosimo Capital. But basically what OpenAI, or not what OpenAI, Bittensor TAO is doing, they're like Y Combinator, but instead of putting VC dollars into the projects that are building under their network, they're giving the emissions of the token, the staking. This goes, you stake TAO, receive an alpha token, you earn yield. TAO is giving that yield to the top projects building on their network. It is incredibly efficient what is happening on this network. We see the top AI coins by performance. 3 out of 5 of these last week were subnets on Bittensor TAO. So there is a full-blown bull run happening on this network. And honestly, these are the 2 tokens that I get told so frequently, I'm way too late to this. I can't fathom buying this. But if you look at the numbers, you see Hyperliquid's 40% below all-time highs. Bittensor TAO is 50%. It still has it's 100% to go to all-time highs. And that would mean for Hyperliquid, another 80% on token upside just before breaking all-time highs. And what you also have to remember is these are newer era tokens. So these haven't seen the heights of an insane alt season or a bull run. So if we even get a fraction of a bull run, I think these types of tokens could go absolutely crazy. So if you think looking through all these cryptos, and you think, I can't fathom buying at these valuations. If you look across the board, most people are still invested in previous cycle stuff like Polygon, which has no narrative at this point in time. We see stuff like Aptos, which is solid. I guess I could see it. Say Network, their network has a pretty good baseline of activity, but another shocking one to me. Ton, I understand Telegram's popular, but as a crypto native, I don't really hop over to the TON network very much. So most people are still living in 2021 to 2024 time periods. But the hottest assets of the next bull run are going to be the newer era coins, stuff like Hyperliquid and TAO. So if you sit here and think that I'm late to all of these tokens, I don't really think that that is the case. And just beyond hype and TAO, you could go through so many tokens and say the same thing. You can find strength, you can find a narrative, and it is an attention game. Crypto, as much as we like to look at metrics and revenue and holder counts, at the end of the day, it's an attention economy, what we live in right now. You see with the streamer stuff, Aiden Ross and the claviculars or whatever the case is. Why are they thriving? Attention economy. Well, when everyone starts seeing a coin plastered all over social media, that starts dominating because it's an attention economy. So you also want to make sure, despite all the metrics that we can throw at you, that the coins that we are going to invest in are also in the narrative, which obviously our top two, Hyperliquid and TAO, definitely are. Now, I know at the beginning of this video, I mentioned I have a coin on my radar that I think can have a pretty vicious pump as long as the market doesn't dump this month. And it's funny because I'm starting to see other people think the same thing. So Moritz, really smart investor, he actually just started a channel with banter as well. He says, I smell crime coming on Gun. Now, this is an interesting one to me, because if we can go look at the Gunzilla, I wonder if they have it here on, token networks. So the Gun token. But regardless, if I can't find it here, it doesn't really matter. I know the tokenomics. So it's not going to show there because Gunzilla is like a layer 1 built on Avalanche. But on Gun, we can look at the daily chart right now, and it's already beginning. It's up 20% today, but it's still red across all the other timelines. Here we are. The Gunzilla token. This is the off the grid token. It's now up 13% on the daily time frame. I could totally see a crime pump coming on this token as well, for the simple fact that vesting is about to begin. And you might be thinking, well, Hustle, that doesn't make too much sense. If vesting's about to begin and tokens are going to get unlocked, doesn't that mean that investors are going to be unloading their tokens? Well, I do have a little bit of info on this. A lot of the times, tokens will have major rips into these big token unlocks because, number one, they're manufactured pumps, crime pumps, as what Moritz points out. But also, number two, I think that, a lot of the time there's price gets pushed up so these VCs can get out at a higher rate of return. This is 12 months after TGE. This is going to be a very easy token to manipulate. I don't know. I agree with this sentiment that over this month, the unlock is at the end of April. So April 30th, I believe, is the date. So leading into April 30th, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Gunzilla's token sitting at 3 cents, like 3.5 cents, like a complete 100% pump. It's a $27 million market cap. It's really not going to take that much liquidity to make that happen. I don't know. I do definitely agree that that could happen. And during the initial wave of unlocks, there were certain investors that had early unlocks. Similar activity happened where the coin just really ripped into some of these key unlocks. So that is complete speculation, but I could totally see it happening. And that is a very risky trade, as most of the time you would have to do spot. But that is something I'm going to keep my eye on. If we wake up tomorrow and it's sitting at 2 cents, and then the next day, 2.3 cents, I might try to find an avenue to get involved and ride this up till close to the first token unlock. So guys, that is my thoughts on the market currently. And more importantly, aside from the call at the end, that is really speculative and I wouldn't go crazy on that. But at the same time, I think that you are not late to any of the top altcoins. And in fact, if anyone's telling you you're too late, I think that's a ridiculous claim. We are in the middle of a bear market. We are 50% down on Bitcoin from all-time highs. We are 80% down on most major altcoins. Most major altcoins are dying, okay? If you can get good entries on top projects heading into the next 6 months, I think you will be very satisfied with your long to mid-term return. So guys, like the video down below if you enjoyed the content and subscribe to the channel for more. I'll see you guys on the next video tomorrow. As always, trade responsibly, my friends, and of course, stay bullish, my friends.